I want to welcome all our viewers in the United States and around the world. I'm James Pierre. Welcome to another episode of The Talk with James Pierre, of course, me. Joining us now is Dr. Shirley Plantin. It's truly an honor to have you on the show with us. We've been tracking you for a long time. Very busy, but now we have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you for all the great work that you are doing in the communities, not only the Haitian community, but all the other communities as well. I've seen you very active doing work. You have also an organization now helping youth to be better. My first question will be, when you're looking at the youth right now, comparing to the justice system, can we say we are in good track, or we can say that there's more work to be done in terms of prevention and education?
You want the truth, or you want me to tell you?
Tell me.
The truth is, James, we are in a state of crisis, right, when it comes to our youth. And I like to be very blunt about that, because the more we're blunt and honest about it, the more we're willing to work on it, right? To sit here and say, well, we're on a good track, realistically, we're losing kids every day, right? Miami-Dade alone, if we look at the numbers, the month of December was dubbed Bloody December, right? Wow. So you lost kids from 2 years old to young adults, 24, 25 years old. And of course, there are different factors contributing to that, but no, we're not on the right track, not where we would like to be. Now, granted, when we speak, we're not talking generally, but there is a huge portion of our kids that's headed for trouble.
Where do we start in terms of prevention? Is it starting in school? Is that home? That we have to educate our kids better to stay away from trouble when it comes to, legal, when it comes to crime?
I think that's a great question. The answer is a lot of people don't like it. It starts at home. Because at the end of the day, parents choose to have kids, right? And parents are the first teachers. Whether we believe it biblically or whatever path you follow, you are the first teacher, right? So you teach the child to say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, please, and all the mannerisms. School is just there to teach 1 + 1 = 2, and ABC. I think throughout the years, there's been this new assumption that school should take care of everything. And if it's not school, it's law enforcement, it's community. At the end of the day, it goes back to our parents taking responsibility for the products that they put out. Oftentimes, parents say, oh, it's the system, it's everything else. But if you chose to have this child, it's your responsibility. And that's kind of the direction that the court system is moving in, the school system is moving in, law enforcement, because they're the aftermath. The kid starts at home, they come from home, and everything else is just, we're picking up what started at home.
We'll go deeper into parents, but another issue that we are having is kids having kids.
Oh, yes.
So now they are not well educated when it comes to what to do with the justice system and how to behave.
Right.
Now they are bringing kids.
Another set of kids.
Who may follow the same path.
Right. And I can tell you that in my line of work, I've been doing this for, we're not going to say how long, but I've been doing this for a very long time. And the dynamics of parenting has changed. I'm seeing more younger parents, more millennial parents who are trying to befriend the kids rather than actually parent the child. And that's a very thin line to play. So when you have a child who was pregnant at 14, 15, who's now 26, 27 with a 10-year-old, you didn't really get much, so it's not much there to give. And you're realizing that they're throwing their hands up because the patience isn't there. There's a lot of stuff that we learn, becoming parents a little bit later in life, that these young kids or young parents really don't have. And we're starting to see the effects on the generation and the community as a whole.
And most of the time, these kids, when they committed a crime, they serve time. When they reinsert in the community, they are not better.
No, because see, the thing about serving time, and there's a misnomer about when kids get arrested and what happens. A lot of the kids that get arrested actually don't do time. They go through what we call a civil citation process. And, you go in and they basically say to you, well, either you're a first degree, either this is your first, you're a first time offender, a second time offender. The system is built to give kids chances after chances after chances. So the child that actually ends up serving time, you've kind of went through your list of chances, right? The problem that we run into is prevention, diversion. A lot of it just isn't working. And when you do go in to do the time, who did you meet on the inside? And what did you learn on the inside? So that rehabilitation a lot of time isn't happening. And when the kids come out, it's one, they're playing catch up, or two, what they understood the system to be They just learned it a little bit different, and now they're trying to come up, as they say, a lot quicker.
I know you've been doing this for a long time on the one-on-one basis, and you're also helping the community. What are the challenges you think the parents are facing when it comes to educating the kids to stay away from trouble?
Well, first, let me tell you, it's not an easy job, right? Secondly, you have to take into account where we are. Miami's very diverse. We used to be a melting pot, now we're a salad bowl, depending on whatever the theme is these days. So when you look at our minority communities, there are a lot more challenges than possibly a non-minority community. So you have to take into account the communication gap, the way that parents communicate with each other. Cultural gap is a really big thing because you have parents that's trying to raise their kids based on what they learned in their motherland, and kids that are quickly adapting to the American lifestyle, right? And then you have what I would consider, there's a list, but I think these are the top three. Then you have what we call a technological gap. You've got parents who are just not on point with technology. So of course the kids are way ahead of them, and the parents are trying to play catch up. Or better yet, you have parents that just don't understand technology, period. They fear it, so they don't engage. Hence where they begin to lose their children.
And we need that connection. We need that. We need a bridge
Absolutely.
to close that gap between
Absolutely.
parents and kids, because obviously they can play a major role in helping them to be better citizens.
And I think that's where my passion has come in. A lot of the work that I've done has been directly with youth. So be it through prevention services, working with gangs, working with police departments, intervention, substance, you name it. But I think I'm able to connect with them on a level that a lot of parents are not. So having gained 10, 12, 15 years of working directly with the kids, I've switched my hat a little bit in really trying to educate and advocate for these kids. Educate the parents, one, this is what's happening in your neighborhood. Forget your neighborhood, in your house, right? And then advocating for these kids. A lot of times it's giving voice to what the kids are crying out for help for. So a lot of times it's just saying, I need some time with my parents. You've got parents that's working 3, 4, 5 jobs, not realizing in the process they're losing the kids, right? Because they're trying to pay the bills, and that's a real mentality, that I don't need to provide anything else. As long as I give you clothes, food, and a house, you're okay. But a lot more is needed for our kids to succeed.
Dr. Shirley, stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you'll be surprised that you can purchase a phone for your kid and later get arrested.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you why. Stay with us.
Start your story at MDC. Be analytical. Be imaginative. Be a rising star. Be bold. Be connected. Be the solution. Be ready. What's your story? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back to our second segment, The Talk with James Pierre. And right now in the second segment, we are very honored to have with us not only a friend, but also an actor, model, TV personality. I don't know how many titles, Franklin, you have. Finally, we have you here on set with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Don't forget casting director for Lauderdale Fashion Week.
Look at that, man. And the list is going on, is going on, is going on.
I'm trying to get to your status, man.
Oh,
Just
my
slightly a
goodness.
little bit.
No, you are doing great things, and we are so
Thank you, sir.
proud of
Likewise.
you as a Haitian as well, doing great things in the community. And that's the main reason that we have you here on the show. So our audience get to know you better. You started at a very early age into the TV and film, but before that, you were doing something else. Well, in a hospital.
Well, the hospital part, I came from an academic family. My father, who's happened to be a foreman at the time, but he was like, okay, coming from Haiti, it was kind of tough or whatnot. So he was like, no, you're going to get the best education there was. So I was an ultrasound sonographer / vascular. But I wasn't just that, I specialized in that. So I was able to get that at the age of 19. People
So do you do it for your parents?
Well, I wanted to accomplish their dream because when they came here, they was having a hard times. It wasn't easy for them to go to school like that. So when I came along, so I'm like, okay, I got to get my college degree. And my father was like, okay, if you just get your college degree, make sure your brother get his master's. So your brother get his master's, make sure your sister get his doctorate degree.
Yeah.
So I'm the first out of 4 siblings.
Yeah.
So college degree. My brother got his master. My sister become the doctor. The youngest one is a genius. So, but yet the education part and as far as like medical part, I got it from my parents.
And you got to know that if you're from the Caribbean, you know exactly what
Yeah.
he's talking about.
Either-
Education is key when it comes
Yes.
to Haitians and you know, folks from the Caribbean. But great, you did that, but you made a switch. You realized, that's not
Because
exactly
my
what I want to
mother,
do for the
my
rest of my life.
mother was a professional stylist for 10 years. She also worked with New York Fashion Weeks, major celebrities. I can't name some of them on television at the moment. And when I did 8 years of medical field, I specialized and I did everything that I could. She was like, what do you want to do next? This is not the stepping stone for you. What do you want to do next? I was like, Mom, I want to come to the fashion just like you. She's like, fashion is in your blood because I'm fashion royalty. My grandparents was a fashion designer. My mother was a fashion designer, so it's only in the blood. So I made that transition in 2009. And my first fashion show I did, the Rip the Runway. And I was the future model at the time. I had yet to be signed to any agency. From that period of time, it just rolling. Miami International Fashion Week, Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. Then when it did a BET Rip the Runway, the Sean John came along, the Ralph Lauren came along, D Square came along, and then they shipped me to Cape Town, South Africa. Wow. So I stayed there for like a year. It was great, phenomenal. I enjoyed so much there. And then I came back to the U.S. And then, you know, the rest of it.
Talking about your parents, especially your mother, would you say that your mother is a foundation of your success? Because she tolerated you, she supported you to say, you know what, okay, this is what you want to do, switch to the modeling, I have a career in the modeling, I will help you out.
She did. My mother helped me out so much. Like, she was my best friend before she passed away. Whatever I'm doing, she's like, whatever you're doing, if you're gonna do it, whether you're doing it for free, for money, make sure you put 150% in it because you just never know how it's gonna correlate down the line or whatnot. She supported me all the way through. She's like, whatever it is, you do your research. Make sure when you're doing it, people are like, you know what, he did it with class, he's such a poise. You have nothing but positive to say. Even the people who don't like you, which I don't know who they are, would have something positive to say about you.
Yeah.
So
you mentioned some of the few projects that you've been part of. You also done several commercials.
Correct.
Pepsi.
Yeah.
And some of them.
Malibu rum
How was it
commercial.
on set? You know, representing a company such as Pepsi or Malibu rum,
Well,
etc.
the Pepsi came along was a Super Bowl commercial. I went in and then I started smiling. I'm like, I started imitating Eddie Murphy. The lady was like, oh my gosh, you have one of the best smiles that we ever have. And I was like, yes. I was like, Pepsi, baby. And I was looking at the can at the time. So when I went on set is always great. I represent them as if they were my own brand. And they loved me. They was like, you know, you should be our brand ambassador. That contract never went through, but I just did that commercial for a Pepsi commercial. It was great. But on set, it was phenomenal. It was great.
What would you say to young filmmakers, you know, whether they want to pursue a career in TV or film? Now it's blending, you know, TV, film, it really depends on what you do. You have many series that are shot on 24 but still airing on TV. What would you say to these young kids looking at you as a model and want to follow your path?
Well, why would I say to the young kids as young filmmakers? I would say do your research first. If you're gonna do a movie, make sure you take your time. Just keep in mind, in the film, in the business, showbiz industry, there's a no 9 to 5. There's like a 24/7. Okay, if you're gonna do it with class and poise. If you work, like you say, you want to make a TV, do some research first. Ask questions. Sit down and think it through because at the end of the day, nobody want to do a project to go to waste. You want to do a project for success. You want to make sure it get to a point like people are like, okay, I want to hire him to do my next commercial, my next film, my next, whatever it is to produce. For the young ones, what I say to them, understand you the next generation that's coming up. We, myself and you and I, we looking up to them. It's like, you know, you got to carry us to the next stepping stone. Consider the fact we both are Haitians, we had to go through a lot. But if we accomplish that, we setting up a plateau for you guys. Don't let us fall.
Talking about the new generation, talking about the Caribbean, Haiti in particular, there's a, you know, I love TV, I do TV, but there is a disconnection sometimes with that new generation trying to find the true identity on, am I relating to what I'm seeing on TV? Is that really related to me? can I dress well on TV? Is it only seeing people dressing inappropriately in certain places on TV? You think that you have a take into that? You want to change that? I don't want to reveal too much of your upcoming project.
I mean,
but there's something cooking.
There's something cooking. I say that to them as this. There's like the Haitian museum you could go through. Just go there. Talk to the older guys such as myself. I'm considering myself an older guy because I'm in my early 30s. You know.
Look at that. Huh?
But thank you. Talk to people like myself. Talk to people like you. Go to the museum. Talk to older guy. If you see somebody on TV, he or she's saying something that's somewhat negative, you don't have to feed off to that. My mother always said, it's not what the person says, what you listen to is what you reply to. If you see something that's negative, don't feed off of that. The positive always works.
And talking about the positive, you want to portray that soon in an upcoming project that we may see
that
somewhere on, right?
I don't know how much of the upcoming project I could talk about, but it's a project that followed me around 24/7, captivating the positive side of a young man who's doing so well in the fashion industry, in the acting industry. I want to leave a legacy for the youngers. I want to leave a legacy for my son. I don't know if I get in trouble if I talk too much about it, but it's a great project. A great project that's going to help out the kids a lot.
I can't tell too much, but the beauty of that is you're talking about your son, and I think that's what we need to be.
Yes.
We need to be models to others.
Of course.
We need to make sure that whether the camera is on or off, we are still the person that we say that we are. You know, by being models to others, to our kids, and also to the society.
Yes.
Because society is always looking up to us like, whether the camera's on or off. Hey, I've seen you there. I've seen, whatever you do on Instagram and Facebook and other platforms, you want to make sure that you portray that. And I'm glad that you're part of that wonderful project that would also help the community to be better.
Yes. I thank you for that. One other project, I don't know if I could say too much about that as well, whereas Ms. Garcelle Brewer, a.k.a. Fancy, everybody knows her as Fancy.
So proud of her.
Yes. Yeah. She's working on a project called Human Trafficking in Haiti. That's, I don't think I should touch much of that, but it's called human trafficking. It's something that's happening in the Caribbean. It shouldn't be happenings. Yeah. She's working on trying to fix that, which is something I love. I want to be part of it. I'm actually being reached out by Jimmy Jean Lewis and want to be part of that project. Whenever you hear a project like that, you always want to be part of it. Whether you're getting paid or not, it's just something that's going to help with the younger generation and make the gap that you see that is so far apart, we need to bring it closer. Whereas all of it, if we work as a team, we'll bridge that gap easily. So
it's good. And the ultimate goal is for the betterment of our community,
of course,
the betterment of our country, the betterment of the world.
Yes.
And if we have a better world, a positive world, we are happier.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Franklin. We have so much to talk about. I have to invite you back on the show, but we got to take a commercial break.
I would love to be here any given time. Love the show.
Thank you, and we are so proud of you. Keep up the good work.
I'm proud of y'all. Thank you so much.
Stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Dr. Shirley.
Start your story at MDC. Be analytical. Be imaginative. Be a rising star. Be bold. Be connected. Be the solution. Be ready. What's your story? Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back. Wonderful conversation with Franklin, a very great guy. And we have us back to the third segment, Dr. Shirley, to also talk about prevention. Before the break, the first segment, we spoke about the idea of a parent buying a cell phone for his kid, thinking that, you know what, it's his birthday, later on he get arrested.
Yeah.
In what way a parent can get arrested for buying a phone for a kid?
So let me first premise my statement by saying I love technology, right?
Yeah.
So I'm never against technology because of all the good that it does.
Yeah.
However, technology has also become one of our greatest weapons, right? Parents are losing their kids because of technology. So everything that you do, it has to have limitations. And I think oftentimes our parents don't understand that. So I give you a tablet and I tell you, you do whatever you want. I give you a phone and you do whatever you want. So to specifically answer your question, if you buy a phone for your child and that phone is on your name, whatever that child does on that phone is directly related back to you. So in simple terms, you have, phones have a tracking mechanism, right? Just like computers have an IP address, so does the phone. I like to explain it to parents in their terms. So it's like a social security number, right? No two has the same. So you buy the phone, you put it under your name because you're paying the bill. Well, I need you to understand that if the child downloads pornography, you just did that. If the child participates in, the new thing is these kids are downloading the fights. They're recording them, and they're sharing them. Someone happened to get hurt. The kid didn't just do that. The kid did it, but you did it in the eyes of the law. So now if there's ever anything legal and there is an investigation, they're coming knocking on your door. Yes, your child did it, but you have to realize whoever signed that contract and pays that bill owns whatever is done on that phone. So before they talk to your child, then you have to say, it's not my phone, I gave it to, the first thing the officer says to you, but on the contract, it belongs to you. And a lot of parents don't seem to make that connection, that even though you've given the phone, but you were still the owner of that phone.
I want to talk about that point because so many parents, they have fear. They think that because I purchased a phone for my child, I don't have access to the phone. I cannot go into the phone to check what it is. And my producer, Michael, was telling me, no. With my kids, it's a no. I need to make sure that I double check everything they are doing. Is it okay for parents to make sure that at least you have the password of your child's phone? You need to know, when and what is it that child is watching online.
So, I know a lot of parents a lot of the kids are going to be upset with me. If I pay for the phone, I own the phone. So that means there's no question of if I ask for the phone, you're not going to give it. In my house, there's no password, right? Because I'm paying for the phone. That means at any given moment, I can check the phone. Now, granted, I only have a 4-year-old, so I'm constantly checking, making sure that there aren't things that are slipping through that he shouldn't be looking at. But this idea that parents have, I can't have access to the phone. Yeah, you do. And there are programs and apps that give you the ability to control what time the phone gets shut down, what programs can be watched, the security that you put on the phone. At the end of the day, the child is made to be parented. So the parent needs to parent. And part of that parent is to put limitations and protections, so to speak, not just for the kid, but for you as the adults as well. So absolutely, that's doable.
Let's talk about some of the resources out there for parents to at least to educate themselves on what to do and how to behave when it comes to kids, when it comes to prevention. What are the resources out there available for them?
So I'm going to put a quick plug. I've got a book coming out called The Backstory of a New Reality. And it's really geared towards giving parents resources. It's unmasking what a lot of these kids are going through. The bestiality that our kids are involved in, the drugs, the alcoholism, the gangs and all of that, right? So it gives you a real, oh my God, I didn't know this was happening. But besides the book, there are tons of resources. Number one thing a parent needs to do is be engaged. So there are parent meetings at the schools for free. You have to spend time with your child. One of the biggest excuses that parents give me, well, I don't have money. The park is free, right? Spending time sitting with your child, maybe over a scoop of ice cream, that's free. But it really involves quality time. It's not quantity time, it's quality time. And then you need to go to the school. You need to be visible. Schools need to know who you are. I often say this when I do shows. Schools that know that parents are involved treat their children differently. And parents play two roles. You're either an ally or you're an enemy. And if you're not going to advocate for your child, then definitely you're an enemy because the child doesn't know if they can depend on you, right? Parents are afraid to ask for help, particularly minority communities. They feel as though if I ask for help, that makes me less than a parent. Well, a wise man knows when to ask for help, right? You know your limits. And there's something that you can always learn. You've always got to be willing to learn. So the resources are available. There are shows like this. There are tons of shows in the community that's trying to help. And there are tons of organizations. The days of old that says someone doesn't speak my language, Miami-Dade County Public School, You got people that speak every language possible. All you need to do is walk in and say, I need a translator in Creole, in Spanish, in Hindu, whatever, in Dutch. And, it's made available to you. So I think we're running out of excuses to properly advocate for our children.
Talking about communication, I know you briefly spoke about that in the first segment.
Right.
There's a gap.
Yes.
Example, Haitian parents.
Right.
With kids born here in the United States, the kids feel, you know what, I'm just going to speak more English than Creole. They don't understand the system.
Yes.
So it's best that they keep on going to these meetings so they learn the new system, so they know how it works, so they can better help
Absolutely.
the kids.
But I think what I would first suggest to parents is we're doing a disservice to our kids by not teaching them our mother language, right? Because if that's the language that you're comfortable in, that child needs to be able to speak it, right? Because you as a parent, you do yourself a disservice trying to speak a language that the kid is laughing at you because you're not good at it, right? So if it's Creole that you speak Creole. I have to give the Hispanic community credit for that. They make it their business that their kids speak Spanish. But a lot of times in the Haitian community, my child that's born in America, I'm just going to speak English. They don't need to speak Creole. One, you do yourself a disservice. But two, giving that child an opportunity to learn another language from home advances them a lot further later on in life. So the second thing is, yes, you do want to continue going to these programs and services that may be rendering the service in your language because it allows you to better understand what's being said. Communication is the #1 key to any relationship, right? So if you can't communicate, you're already creating a hindrance in how the relationship progresses forward.
Nicely said. Dr. Shirley, we have a lot to talk about. I hope that we're going to have you back on the show.
Absolutely.
So we can
Anytime.
keep on educating our community.
Would love to be back. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. And thank you as well to you for watching. I'm James Pierre. We'll see you next time.